So you've heard there are laws around ADA compliance with websites, but you don't really know what that means. In this video, you'll find out. So what is an ADA compliant website? It all starts with something called WCAG. The Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, otherwise known as WCAG, are developed by the World Wide Web Consortium with the goal of creating a single set of standards for web accessibility today. The WCAG version 2.1 at the AAA level is the most widely accepted standard by individuals, organizations, and governments for making websites accessible to people with various disabilities. The WCAG covers hundreds of scenarios, best practices, and design guidelines that explain how an accessible website looks and operates. The guidelines consist of 4 essential principles. Every website must be perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust. Here's a quick rundown on each. A perceivable website presents its information in a way that can be observed by all people regardless of their disability. For example, people with color blindness need to have a certain threshold of contrast between the foreground and the background of the text to be able to see it properly. A website is considered operable when all the functions on the site can be used. This is especially important when it comes to people with motor disabilities. For example, a person with motor impairments should be able to use the keyboard only for navigating the website without relying on a mouse. Understandable websites must use clear terms and have simple instructions so people can understand the context of the content that is posted on the site. And finally, a robust website is one that is compatible with various assistive technologies, such as screen readers, which blind people use for navigating websites. The WCAG segments into 3 levels of success criteria. They are A, AA, that's the level that's required by legislation because it provides a full website accessibility experience. And lastly, AAA. So how does artificial intelligence fit in here? As you can imagine, the effort to maintain ADA compliance can be extensive. Every image requires a description, every page must be navigable, and all of the content must be understandable. As soon as a developer updates a page on the site or an editor publishes a blog post, there is a risk that the site will fall out of compliance. Artificial intelligence, combined with diligent monitoring, ensures that the site will always be compliant. As rules change and expand, the AI can evolve and adapt. The team at Content First Marketing are responsible for handling the more complex accessibility adjustments, such as screen reader optimization and keyboard navigation. The integration with AI allows for these back-end adjustments to be done efficiently, affordably, and within reasonable timeframes. Let's first start with contextual understanding. Website visuals are common and universal, making it simple for sighted users to follow the flow of a site. As long as the layout makes sense, we don't care about how the website is coded. Content First Marketing's AI applies the same thinking process while analyzing the site. It visually matches elements and behaviors to millions of past encounters to learn from context what elements actually do and their purpose on the page. Then, all of the necessary code adjustments are implemented in order to reflect blind people using screen readers exactly what's on the screen and the purpose of every element, exactly as it was intended originally. The next area is image recognition. Content First Marketing scans all images on the site, and whenever there is an alternative text, alt tags, missing, it will extract the embedded text using OCR, optical character recognition, and learn the objects that comprise the image. Then, we will automatically provide accurate and elaborate alternative text to any of these images. When a blind user enters a site, their screen reader will rely on these descriptions to communicate what is on the page. The third area of using AI is in maintaining compliance with daily scans and analyses. Maintaining compliance is equally as important as achieving it in the first place. That's because websites are dynamic and constantly undergoing updates, such as content updates, browser changes, optimization, and performance tools. These changes can compromise compliance, and in just a few updates, compliance could be completely broken. The Content First Marketing AI rescans every page of every site at a minimum rate of once every 24 hours, ensuring new updates are being remediated for compliance immediately. Now we're going to spend a little time with some technical detail. Elements that exist on almost every website are sometimes going to be the most challenging to make accessible. So we're going to talk about how our AI and our team fixes those things. That first one, well, those are pop-ups. The system moves the focus, enables dismissal with the escape key, and tag for screen readers. When a pop-up appears, the keyboard focus must lift off the main page and land back down within the first clickable element of the pop-up. Navigating using the tab key within the pop-up must loop back to start when reaching the last element and trying to move forward. Users must be able to close pop-ups with the escape key, and the focus must go back to the element that was focused on prior to the pop-up. Pop-ups must include a role attribute equal to dialog, and pop-ups must also include an area model attribute equal to true. Next, links. The system identifies, labels, and fixes empty or insufficient link text. Links must include text, title, or an area label. They must be logically ordered within the document. For example, a read more must come after the title and the paragraph of a section. Links must provide a visual indicator if they are opened in a new window and also announce that to a screen reader using a hidden text or title. And lastly, links must be noticeable on page and look different than regular text. Menus. The system identifies and interprets menus to screen readers and allows navigation with arrow keys. A nav tag or a role attribute equal to navigation menu bar must be present at the top element that contains all the links and menu items. A role attribute equal to menu item must be present on the links that comprise the menu items. Users can use the tab key to navigate to the next element and shift tab to navigate to the previous element. And the focused element must easily identifiable using the focus ring. Users can navigate across the menu bar itself using the left and right keyboard arrows. When reaching the end of the menu and pressing the forward arrow key, the navigation should loop back to the first item. Icons are a little different. The system uses contextual understanding to identify the purpose of icons and tags accordingly. However, icons don't have specific guidelines because icon tags or elements don't exist. The purpose of an icon, usually as a link or a button, is to symbolize a universally recognizable action to a user. Since this is based on visual recognition of a symbol, the system automatically includes a description of the purpose or action of the icon for users who can't see or recognize it. Drop-downs. The system enables keyboard navigation and locks up navigation focus for users who can't use a mouse. Users can open drop-downs using the Enter and the arrow down keys. Drop-downs should also be opened by focusing on the menu item. Users can navigate within drop-downs using the up and down arrows, and focus must never escape the loop within the drop-down unless it was intentionally closed. Users can close the drop-down using the escape key, and the keyboard focus must go back to the root menu item of this drop-down. Images. Using sophisticated artificial intelligence recognition systems, the system provides elaborate and accurate alternative text to all images, including embedded text as well as objects. To be compliant, images must have an alt attribute to describe what's in the image to users who cannot see properly or at all. The system uses image recognition technology to not only pull out text and object descriptions, but also describe the essence of an image. For example, an image of people playing on the beach accompanied by text that says 30% off bathing suits will automatically receive alternative text describing all of these elements, which a screen reader will then relay to the user. Buttons. Identify text and link elements that behave as buttons. Enable keyboard operation. Buttons must contain text, title, or an area label. They must be an actual button tag or alternatively a role attribute that equals to button and that it's present. Buttons must include the text, area label, and title. And lastly, forms. We must announce field requirements and validations, identify error messages, and successes. All fields must include a label tag that is connected to the field by the ID and the for attributes, or an area label attribute. Required fields must include both visual cues, such as an asterisk, and the area required attribute equals true. Fields must include the area invalid attribute to inform screen readers whether the field is currently valid or invalid. This attribute must change dynamically according to the validations, i.e., An empty required name field must include area invalid equals true to indicate that it's invalid, but to change to area invalid equals false once the user fills it in. When a form is submitted and errors are present, the keyboard focus must be taken to the first invalid field, and the user must receive an explanation, both visual and to the screen reader, of what the issue is with this field. When a form is submitted successfully, a blind user with a screen reader should be informed of that using an alert element or other means. Well, there was a lot to take in right there, and you may or may not be doing this on your current website. If you would like a free review, just send us an email. There's an email address on the screen here and in the show notes below. Send a message to us. We'd be happy to do that for you. I hope this was helpful. I hope you learned a little bit about ADA and websites and how AI is helping with that, and how Content-First Marketing is working on these as well. I make videos like this all the time. Sometimes they're on business and marketing, sometimes personal development. If you found this interesting, give it a like. If you had some comments on things maybe you would have done differently, I'd like to hear that below. If you want to hear about some new topics, put that in the comments as well. Thanks again for your time, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.